Boom. Hello there. Bom dia. How's it going today?
You don't know this, but we just tried to record a little bit, and our dogs completely came bum rushing us and then started fighting on camera. But we were only like 30 seconds into that first clip, so we decided to stop so that you guys wouldn't hurt your ears by listening to them scream. But with that said, they are not locked out today. We actually have one. She is sleeping right underneath the camera right now. She probably will come join us at some point, but letting you know, there might be some dogs that interrupt our podcast today.
We'll see how that goes. Try that out, I guess.
So welcome.
But welcome to another week of a BJJ Marriage with your hosts Nick Lee and
Brittany Lee.
Brittany Lee.
You always say my name for me.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's week 14, so
that's crazy.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, that's like how many months? 3 months?
Just about.
Just about.
Not more. He forgot to take his allergy medicine today, too. So
unfortunately.
He's all sniffly.
Yes, I'll try not to sniffle all the way into the video.
Yeah. But anyway,
Anyways.
how was everyone's week? I always like to ask that. I like them to think about it. I like them to think about how your week of training went and how even outside of the gym your week went. And
Describe that question a little bit. What do you think of when you think of your week in Jiu-Jitsu?
Like this week or in general?
Just in general. Like, what are the things that justify if you had a good week, a bad week? What kind of week?
I think that if I had a good week, it is the days that I actually go when I say I'm going to go. Because I have a very set routine. And if I miss one of those days for any reason that's not important, like let's say that I just am being really lazy that day.
You?
Why do you say it like that? What do you mean?
It doesn't happen.
Exactly. But no, I would say that the days that I'm feeling lazy are probably going to be a week that I'm like, oh, I probably could have done better. But I also know that rest days are important. But if I go on the days that I said I would and I did not completely die every time I rolled, I think that that's a win.
Especially being a white belt, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the things I look for in my week of jiu-jitsu is normally I try to do certain things that week.
Okay.
I pick like a move that week and I'm like, this is what I'm going to work on this week. Might be something I'm really good at that I want to keep working on. Might be something I'm really bad at that I want to develop. And I look for that opportunity in all the roles as many times as I can. Cool. And I go for that. And attendance is big, yeah. Obviously, if I miss some days or whatever, I'll be like, meh. But
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't pick something to work on and then just focus on that. I just kind of go in and I try to do what I can. And I guess another thing that constitutes a good week for me is if during a roll hello Scarlett.
This is Scarlett.
Welcome.
Hello.
But I think that if I am in the middle of a roll and I am starting to get to the point now where I can start thinking a little bit ahead of where I want to go and what I want to do, and I feel like if I can get to that spot that I want to be at or get the move that I'm trying to hit in the roll, depending on the person that I'm working with, then I would say that that constitutes a good roll. Even if I don't get to finish it and do whatever I need to do, at least I tried and at least I went for it. And I
look for the opportunity for it?
Notice the opportunity. Hi. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah, so I do that all week with a move normally.
Sit.
It's okay. Like this week, I was working on loop chokes again.
Oh yeah.
Because I forgot how much I love loop chokes.
Loop chokes are so much fun.
They're so much fun, yeah.
We learned those in beginner class this week. It was fun to teach some brand new white belt females how to do a loop choke.
Yeah, I love teaching. And that's the other thing too. If I can teach a bunch of stuff, if I get the opportunity to, I think my week is better also.
Hey, why are you doing this?
Why are you the way you are?
Okay. All right. But,
yes.
Yeah.
So, with all of that being said, you still say you had a good week?
I had a great week. I'm so happy. I'm so jazzed today.
No. Yeah?
I don't think they can see what she's doing right now. But
gonna knock it all over.
She's really wondering what this this light is right now. Anyway.
She's shaking the camera.
Hey! lay down.
How's your week?
This was my first week back of actually rolling since January. I've been flow rolling, I've been drilling, I've been doing random moves. Here comes our other one. But I have been doing random stuff throughout the last 3 months. But this was the first week that I actually rolled, and I was actually able to try out some things that I haven't been able to do, like side control pressure and mount and escaping bad positions and other things like that. And it was really, really fun.
Girls.
Come here.
This is Olive, our other dog.
Okay.
No.
No. They're going to try play fighting here real soon. So next week we'll lock them out again. But just wanted to try it out this week and see how it went. It's not going well, clearly. No. Come here. Come here. Right here. Sit. Just sit. Okay. So yeah, I had a really good week. I got to roll a ton. I got to roll with a bunch of different people, which was super cool because I rolled Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Stop it. Go lay down. Yeah, our dogs like to wrestle the same way we like to wrestle.
We always like to watch them fight, and I was like, go for the leg! And Olive actually really does go for legs a lot. But they like to tackle each other and do takedowns, and they technically do knee on belly. When one of them goes to their back, the other one will jump on top, and then immediately probably lose.
This one sucks at defense.
Yeah, she's not very good.
I've rear naked choked her so much, and she never learned.
She's not very smart. But we love her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we were able to see lots of people do lots of different moves this week. Nick ended up teaching this Tuesday class this week, and he taught some really cool thing that he learned at the Master Sauer seminar.
Yes.
Which has been very helpful for my game this week.
That's awesome.
Taught a very specific detail for back takes, and whenever I was on someone's back, it was nearly, I'm not going to say impossible, because I'm sure like Brett could have easily done it today, but he chose not to. But pinching your knees on the hip ends up making it much harder for them to roll you over their shoulder when you're taking their back or to shuck you off. So I've been able to do that this week.
Yeah, it's a weird little unorthodox type of back take because it's taking the back and controlling someone without getting your hooks in. But it was super fun. It was a move that I learned that resonated with me really well. And I decided to teach it in class, and it worked out for everybody. And that's another win for me. Whenever I can teach a technique or a move, and I see somebody doing that move, or they come back to me and they're like, hey, this really worked well for me. Or they come back and they're like, hey, I almost got this, but I know there's a detail I'm missing. What is it that I missed that I need to do? Can you help me out with it? Those are really fulfilling moments in my jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah.
Whenever I get to coach people, help them out, help them grow, they get better, we all get better. A rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I say all the time, so happy I got to help you out with that.
Yeah, and then we also just promoted this week too his personal training skills that he's now been doing as well, where he's doing private lessons for anyone interested.
Yes.
Because he's at the stage now in his jiu-jitsu career where he can pass on his knowledge to the new generation that's coming in, which is kind of cool to think about.
The next wave of white belts. Yeah.
Because that was you not too long ago. I mean, at this point it feels like a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, that was only 4 years ago for you.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years ago. What year did I start? 2018, 2017? I think 2017 I started.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because it's been 3.5 years, so October 2017.
Time flies.
Wow. What were you doing in October 2017? Any idea? I have no idea.
Nope, no clue.
I just know I started jiu-jitsu. I know I got a Halloween costume that had a rash guard in it, and then I ended up using that.
It's mine now.
Yeah, it doesn't fit me anymore.
Which is weird because you've gotten smaller.
But I've gotten... That makes no sense.
Did it ever fit you? Did it ever actually fit you?
It was probably always a little tight. But
So
I've gotten more defined.
You were what, the werewolf? No, daredevil?
Yeah, Daredevil.
Daredevil. So it was like a black tight rash guard. To
With
go
red
with.
lining.
Yeah, and it looked like it was almost gi pants with that costume. And the black rash guard hasn't fit you for a long time. So now I wear it.
Yeah. Maybe it shrunk in the wash.
Maybe.
But yeah, my week was super fun. I got to teach people, and I was going for loop chokes this week, and I caught a bunch of like bow and arrows and loop chokes, and it was super fun.
That's fun.
I just love loop chokes. They're my first like successful submission. Actually, on my Twitter page, I have pinned to the top of my Twitter just all of my loop chokes that I've done in competition together. And that's a fun video. I've gotten like over 11 loop chokes in competition, which
crazy.
is super fun.
That's super crazy. That's more matches than I've ever done in competition.
Dang.
I did 7 matches in my first one and 4 in my last one. So I've done 11 matches.
Imagine if you finished all those matches with a loop choke.
That's crazy. I've done one. I did one with a loop choke. It was a really crummy loop choke, but it was a loop choke nonetheless.
Yeah, I love loop chokes. I literally could just do them all day long.
Yeah. That was a loop choke from the front, though, so I didn't have the best leverage, but I still made her tap, so.
Yep.
Worked out.
Tap. Works out. Yes.
I did that in a real fight.
Yeah.
On the streets.
In the streets.
Yeah. It actually made me feel pretty cool today, too, because I was rolling with a pretty big guy, a new guy, and I was able to hold my own against him. He definitely had, like, the pressure and the strength on me 100%, but I was able to just kind of move and wiggle around the whole time, and I felt pretty safe the whole time.
That's good.
Kind of nice.
That's great. Yeah, I love when the new white belts come in and I just like hold them down, and they're like, "This is weird. I should be able to move. I'm bigger than you."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah."
So I was telling the girls today, with the ones I was helping out in the beginner class, I was telling them, I'm like, it always makes me, I couldn't figure out the right word, so I used the word chuckle. But it always makes me chuckle a little bit to see these big, masculine, manly men come in to jiu-jitsu and their first day, and then they just kind of stare at the professor, even if it's beginner class, and they're like, "What is combat base?" And then they try it, and they're just like, "Okay." It's like I get my foot here and here. And it's so entertaining to watch brand new people try to figure out these moves because they're so not natural.
Yeah, every move in jiu-jitsu is not natural at all.
No, they're all learned behaviors and learned techniques. Like, I don't think, I can't even name one that's just natural, because the girls were also saying, like, I really want to roll to my stomach when she's on my back. I'm like, don't do that. So it's just all things that you have to actually teach yourself.
Yes.
And it's just, like I said, it's always interesting to me when I see a manly man come in and then they just can't do, like, the most basic of moves. And in my brain, I'm like, why can't you do that? And then I'm like, oh, yeah.
They have no idea.
No, that took me a really
They've
long time.
never even moved their body that way before.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always funny. But yeah, I love just, like, holding them down, especially when they're trying to, like, flail around and use all their strength. And then I just basically pull them down to my guard and say, no. Let's relax a little bit. And if they start to move slower, then I release a little bit, try to work a little bit of sweeps. And then
that's
like,
pretty
"Oh
much
my
all
God."
it is with brand new, big, strong white belts, right?
Yeah.
You have to wait for them to get a little tired, and then that's when you can really
Yes.
work your attacks to the most advantage.
Right, otherwise they're just going to be like, let me get through all this.
Let me hold you in this really terrible scarf that I'm leaving all this space for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. But besides working for loop chokes and having fun rolling with people, I was able to put pressure on both my knees this week,
Woohoo!
which is great. And I didn't put steroid cream on my knees all week.
Really? At all?
And I think I did like Monday maybe, but I'm basically out of it.
Not even after a kid kicked you in the
No, I
knee?
didn't. Yeah. No, I didn't do that yesterday.
Make that to spar the kids this week in
Yes.
Muay Thai.
Yep. We had a class specifically where I got to put on my sparring gear and spar the kids in kickboxing to see how they were doing.
How'd they do?
They did actually pretty good.
That's awesome.
I was like way impressed with how they handled themselves. And obviously I was putting a little bit of pressure on them to see if they would crumble or if they would quit. And they all just like covered up and were like, whoa.
Well, it's so different to spar than it is to kick a bag.
Yeah.
Or kick a pad even.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't realize like how much energy you expend just like walking around waiting for something to come in.
Yep.
Or like, all of that.
It's a lot of work.
It takes a lot of energy. Have you ever sparred?
No. I don't want to. I just have no interest in it.
I know, but I feel like we should spar sometime.
I don't know about that.
But that's the thing, you don't know until you know.
I mean,
most people think sparring is like balls to the wall, like, bah, I'm gonna try to knock you out.
And I know it's not that, but I remember when I did initially start thinking like maybe I should spar, I was doing some sparring drills, and I don't enjoy the blocking drills as much as I do kicking a pad as hard as I can. Like I don't enjoy blocking. I don't enjoy catching teats and throwing them, and I hate sweeping in Muay Thai. That's like I hate it.
Yeah, that's like saying I like attacking in Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't like defending.
Yeah, but I don't do Muay Thai to get good in a fight. I do it for a good exercise, and I do it because it's fun.
But it's also a martial art that you're learning. You don't want to learn just only half of what it has to offer. And the thing about technical sparring is you go the pace of your partner. Mm-hmm. So it's literally just tapping to let you know this is where you would have gotten hit. It's not like you need to block it, otherwise I'm going to knock you the crap out.
Yeah, it's like a flow roll. I get it.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it. Like, I just really don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's something you need to try more.
All right. Well, like, spar the kids. That was the whole point of this, is that he got to toss around some kids yesterday with his gloves and his shin pads, and he ended up getting kicked pretty hard in the knee, his hurt knee. Yeah,
one of the bigger kids, I went to throw a kick, and he went to block it, and ended up just taking the tip of his knee right into my kneecap. And I was like, oh, okay.
But it didn't affect you, because you're still able to go on your knees, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, it hurt, like, the rest of the night. But today, again, I was able to get back into a kneeling position, which I haven't been able to kneel or get on my knees for, like, over a month, which has made all my boyfriends mad.
Stop it. Oh, my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
But no, it was really difficult for him to do side control, and it was difficult for him to be in turtle.
I mean, how often are you on your knees in Jiu-Jitsu?
All the time.
Yeah, so I would always just be on my toes.
Yep.
Which I've actually developed something from that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
which I was showing you.
Yeah, you always learn when you can't use something, you have to figure out a way to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where I was the past 3.5 months, was I couldn't use my sternum, couldn't do side control pressure, couldn't do escapes from bad positions because it was too much shrimping or too much pressure, too much compression, and it made me learn how to flow a lot better, that's for sure. Made me learn how to do a whole lot of teepees. Like, I felt like I was hands and feet on the ground a lot, trying to roll and move out of things and post and do random situations.
Pinching with your posts versus putting pressure in with your chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing that's been huge for me, too, because I can't get on my knees and put pressure in. I would have to, like, pinch by their head. Excuse me.
Wow.
But yeah, pinch, post, and pinch with my posts. Mm-hmm. Pinch posts. Post pinching.
Yeah. But basically, so what we're trying to get at is he was able to finally be on his knees this week, and I was able to actually roll without being in a lot of pain.
Yep, so we had our first real rolls with people in quite a while. Because also, you think about being on your knees, when you're on your back, it's the same thing as like using a knee shield. That pressure of the knee shield was also hurting my knees. So anytime people touched my legs, I was just letting them pass that side of the guard.
Yeah, you kind of crumble to your hip too, so that you wouldn't have to be on your knee.
Yeah.
Play like a scarf almost in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Which was good. And that's what we're trying to say too, is that you kind of figure out what has to tailor to your body. If you can't do something, you have to figure out a way to make it work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's also something for people that have bad body parts and they're not going to use it. You can still tailor a game around what you can and can't use in your body. Because there's some people that just have destroyed knees, or their shoulder is just really tight all the time.
Fingers from gripping, all that. But, I mean, would you say that you were still probably taking it easy on your knees this week, though?
Yeah, I'm still taking it easy. I'm not rolling 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any, like, stand-up, any takedowns.
Right, like you weren't going balls to the wall, like, I'm back, I'm going to go super hard.
Right.
And, I mean, that's exactly what I did this week, too. I mean, I was pretty spunky this week. I was rolling all over the place. Like, I was just having so much fun. I was so excited that I could actually be put pressured on and was able to work my way out of it without being like, oh, no, you have to get off, that hurts. Because that was awful. And it was a little discouraging, too, to tell everyone, like, you can't put me in side control, you can't put me in mount, sorry, like, figure it out.
Right. And it was also funny. I put you in like a super stack today. And I was like, well, was that okay? And you were like, yes. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah. So I was still, trying to not go super, super hard and not really hunker down on people. Because now it's just kind of been in my brain for the last 3.5 months that if I roll light, I'm still going to bring that into my normal rolls too. Like, I'm not just going to put all my pressure down the entire time because I've become accustomed to having to learn how to play with a different game.
Mm-hmm. To be able to flow and not be a pressure. A pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure passer.
Right. Exactly. Because that was the hardest part for me was I was a pressure passer. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do was let me put my entire chest on your legs to push them down. Or if I'm in side control, you are staying there until I move. And that was just my game. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And once I got hurt, I couldn't do that anymore. And I was like, well, crap. What am I going to work on now?
Right.
So now 3.5, 4 months later, here we are, where I had to spend so long not doing that. And now I'm not really using it as much. But it has been nice to be able to use it again when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there were times in my other roles, too, where I was like, I probably need to, but I can't. I physically cannot. But now it's like,
yep.
Now I need to do this. I can do it. It's fine.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah. So we just decided not to go super hard on our first week back because you never want to give yourself the chance of re-injury. Yeah. I remember I was rolling with Dave this week and he did some really weird move where my whole chest popped again, but I didn't feel anything. I just heard it, which was the weirdest part. And then I stopped for a second and I kind of moved around, shimmied my chest, and felt where it was injured, and I was like, do I feel anything? I really don't feel anything. Oh. And that was yesterday, and I still don't feel anything. So it was just a sound, and I think it was more just like, oh, you're using the muscle again. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, kind of like if your knees pop or your hips crack or something like that, and you don't, it's not like an injury, you're just like, that was weird pop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And maybe there was a lot of fluid buildup in there because I haven't been able to move around the way that I used to, and so when I was, it was probably just all releasing, but I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
You're not?
That's
no
just
way.
My guess, my uneducated guess.
My hypotheses.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll find out if it's correct.
But I had a fantastic week.
Yeah.
Everyone who's watching this, who I did get a chance to roll with, I had a lot of fun with you, and thank you. Because I really enjoyed it, and I'm much happier today. Like, we were in the car, and I was just, doing this the whole time. I was like, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. Yes. I even told him, too, I was like, we should go to Flow on Sunday. And he was like, we never go to Flow on Sunday. I'm like, I'm ready to roll.
And I was like, sure, I'll go. But you're probably broken. You probably need to heal.
Broken. Oh my gosh.
Did you push it a little bit?
I may have went a little too hard this week. I wasn't going balls to the wall, I wasn't going nuts, but after not moving the way that I just moved for the last 4 months, that was a lot. And then to do it 4 days in a row for about 45 minutes to an hour each day, that's a lot of movement.
Yep.
My elbows are fried, my shoulders are fried, my abs are fried, my feet are fried. I have bruises everywhere. I have this giant bruise on my knee, a big bruise on my elbow. I cracked my whole neck open this week.
What? Cracked it open?
That's what it felt like. It felt like it was a jar just opening. I tried to forward roll out of someone's, I don't even remember what it was, but I was trying to forward roll out of it, and they stuffed me. So I couldn't forward roll, and my whole neck just went shh, and I was like, that doesn't feel good at all. And I was so sore for the next 24 hours. It was the worst pain. It basically felt like when you're back, you have that really nice long crack in your back, but it was in my neck. When you crack your back, it feels good. It just does, it feels good. But when you crack your neck, the way that your back cracks, that doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't feel good.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I can never catch a break. I'm always injured in this stupid sport.
And I tried to massage it a little bit, and you were dying. I was like, right here? She's like, no.
I think I actually swatted you away, too. I was like, no more, I can't.
You're like, I'm done.
I can't do it. It was so painful.
And then I kicked you in our sleep. today?
Yeah, my goodness. Nick is a cuddler, so he really likes to snuggle. But today, he curls up to me like a freaking koala on a tree, and he's like all curled up, and then he takes his entire, like he's laying here, and he's like this, and then he takes this leg, and I think he was trying to put it around my leg, but he missed because he was sleeping, so he just kneed me in the stomach like as hard as he could. And I was like, ow! And he wakes up, he's like, I'm sorry. And then he goes back to sleep. And then I told him today, I was like, do you remember kneeing me? And he's like, no!
Yeah. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I've heard stories of people doing jiu-jitsu in their sleep. Like waking up because their wife wakes them up because they're in bottom side control. And like, oh my God. Stop it.
Oh my God.
And then they wake up like, huh? Oh.
That's terrible. That'd be so scary. I can't even imagine waking up and then you're just like...
grappling you? That sounds like a great idea.
I think my muscle memory would probably come into play real quick though.
Yes.
Like even if I just woke up, I'm pretty sure my knee would come straight up and start regarding and just be like, what are you doing?
Uh-huh. That's one of the best things about creating habits as a reaction to, as a response to certain things.
That's what I was trying to tell the girls too when we were talking about the men who come in and just, it's so funny to watch them not know anything. But then I told them, I was like, it is all just such learned behavior that
really
eventually after you start doing it more, that you start doing it all the time. And then I remember we were rolling today and one of our friends was watching us and he just goes, he's like, wow, bedtime must get real interesting for you guys. And we're like, yeah, we end up fighting a lot. Like somehow, some way it just turns into sorry, that was Scarlett bumping you again. But it just turns into, you know, leg locks or wrist locks or maybe
Chokes,
a nice little back
arm bars.
take, choke. Yeah, whatever it can be.
Yeah, anytime there's cuddling, there's probably a hook getting thrown in there.
Yep. And then it was funny too because last week he came back from Atlanta and he was all excited because he learned all this stuff. And we're just laying in bed talking and then he goes, I want to show you right now. And I'm like, we're laying in bed. And he's like, that's okay, mount me. And so I mounted him and we're just in the bed and the dogs are like, I thought we were sleeping. What are we doing? And he's like, okay, you need a post. So I had my posts out and he was trying to show me on how to like manipulate an arm. But because we were on the mattress, my hand was sinking into the mattress. And he was like, I can't do it because the mattress isn't helping. He's like, we got to go downstairs on the mats. I'm like, Nick, we're not going downstairs on the mats right now.
It was so close. That's why I train more jiu-jitsu, you know?
All the time.
Yes. But yeah, I was super excited. And I was super happy to, over the last couple of weeks, teach some of the things I learned at the other place.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's really fulfilling to teach people stuff. I love teaching people stuff.
It was funny because he learned something that he taught the kids before he taught even me.
I taught her as I taught the kids.
Yep.
But I've been using it on multiple people over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And when I
Is
taught
working
it, yes.
efficiently.
Yes, it is. Could you tell?
Yeah.
Are your shins forearms okay?
They're okay. I'm bruised everywhere. It's fine. My whole body is falling apart right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Do you see the smile on my face? I'm super excited about it.
Such a great feeling.
Yeah.
You know you worked out hard and
Yep.
you feel like you're not getting fat.
Yep. Well, I know today, because it was the fourth day in a row for me. Fourth day in a row rolling for me. And my dad came up to me and he asked me, he was like, how's everything going? Like, how's your sternum and how are you feeling and how's your cardio and all that stuff? I was like, oh, I'm dying and I'm falling apart, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. Such a good feeling.
I'm so happy. But
yes.
I think that it was very difficult. It was a very difficult transition to go from doing this as much as I did to not being able to do it even close to the amount that I was. I was still training and I was still drilling, but it wasn't like legit.
Right. It was just like super light drilling.
Yep.
And just like barely rolling. Just being there.
Taking mental notes, watching videos. Watching videos has been kind of cool though. I've been learning some stuff watching videos. I like my skateboard guard. I'm excited because I learned this thing called skateboard guard on YouTube, and Nick or Dave had never heard of it, and we got to work on it together. I had no idea what I was doing. And Steve. I worked on it with Steve first, actually. But Steve and I tried
White
it.
belts teaching white belts.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, Steve's a good white belt, okay?
Yes.
But Steve and I were working on it first, and then I was talking to Nick about it, and him and I were working on it, and then Dave was actually like perfecting it even more last night and kind of made it his own, which is super cool, and now he's probably going to use it on me all the time. What a bastard. But yeah, taking mental notes, and still, like we said in one of our videos in the past, is you still need to show up and try to keep your routine as much as possible, so when you get to the point where I'm at right now, where I can finally start coming back, it's not draining. It's just like, this is still normal for me.
Right. Your habits haven't changed that much.
No.
And you don't lose most of your jiu-jitsu when you don't train, but you can still learn, like visually, audibly, how to do certain things, how to do new techniques.
Yeah. So because of that, you bringing that up, I want to read a quote by John Danaher that my dad showed me, and I thought it was really cool because he was reading it when he was right next to me, and it was his first time seeing it, and he said to me, he was like, "This speaks to you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, like, specifically to you. And what he meant by that was me as someone who hasn't been training and who has been feeling super discouraged from training, and he wanted me to be able to see this, and I'm not finding it because I looked on the wrong page. It's in Fluid, not on his page.
I don't think it's in there.
You keep talking. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so John Danaher said, "Whatever skill level you are today will be a 70% reflection of your training behavior over the past 5 years, and 30% a reflection of the previous 3 months. Failure to apply yourself well in either category can have serious ramifications for your performance here and now." So basically what I'm at right now is only 30% of what I've been for the last 3 months, right? So like I'm still 70% of what I have been.
Yes.
And the fatigue that I'm feeling and the lack of cardio that I'm feeling is only the 30% that I've been doing for the last, what did it say? 3 months. Which is a little less than the amount of time I've been injured.
Right, which is why I said that post is for you.
Yeah. So then he says, he's like, "I said for so long, if you stop Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when you come back, all you do is knock the rust off and restart only a few steps behind where you're stopped. You do not start over from the beginning. Your time invested is time invested well. The last 3 months of time invested is only 1/3 of your present performance, but 3 months in the grand scheme of the journey is really just a blink of an eye. Get back on the mat and make these next 3 months the best so far." Which I think is very important for people to understand. I know we have quite a few people in our gym who have gotten injured or are currently injured, and they're working their way to come back. Or maybe they had like a life event where they were able to stop training for a bit, but now they're trying to work on coming back. Or, maybe they stopped training with the pandemic and now they're working on coming back. Whatever the scenario is, there's always going to be bumps in the road that can get in the way of your training. And I feel like as long as you don't just completely change your routine and you are still interested in the sport and you can still try to come back and retain the things that you already knew, you'll get back on track where you were.
Yeah.
It may not happen right away, but
because the majority of your game is still all habits that you've created in the past.
Yeah, and I remember the first day that I came back rolling was Wednesday, and that was the first day I really rolled, like actually really rolled since January. And I got beat up so bad by everyone I went with. They were just, I felt like I was terrible. I was like, oh my God, I can totally tell I haven't been training. Like, this is the worst. These people should not be able to get this stuff on me anymore. Like, it was just very discouraging. So then I really thought about that long and hard that night. And then Thursday I came back and I felt much better.
Yeah, and you had some more normal rolls, right? So yeah, speaking about ingrained habits. So, like that post said, 70% is everything over the last 5 years that you've been working. Habits have a way of sticking in your body. If they're ingrained for a long time, they will stay in your body basically forever. So what that means, there's a story from Atomic Habits by James Clear, I believe, a book that I read. But the story is there was this woman who loved riding horses and was also a cigarette smoker, right? And every time she would ride one of her horses, she would smoke a cigarette, right? So she did those things together all the time. And then so happened to be that she didn't ride horses anymore for whatever reason. And then she also quit smoking at some period in her life. And then 30 years later, since she rode a horse again. And immediately when she started riding the horse, even though she quit smoking cigarettes, she had a craving for a cigarette that she hadn't had in years because those habits were so entwined together.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Right. So we can translate that into Jiu-Jitsu also by saying all of the habits that you've built up over the training, even if you had a gap of time between the last time you trained and now, a good majority of those habits are still going to be there when you come back to the mat, and most of it will shape up pretty quickly to what you were if you put a little bit of consistent time into coming back to the mats.
Yeah, shaking off that rust.
Yep, shaking off that rust, getting your body physically able to do the things that you remember you used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that, all of those habits are still in your brain.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's a crazy story.
But I had all that rust on Wednesday, absolutely. Like, I could definitely tell. And I didn't think that would happen to me, honestly, because I told myself, I was like, I've still been here. I've still been training. I've still been mentally training and stuff. But then Wednesday, I was like, holy cow. I am so not what I was. Mm-hmm. But then I felt myself improve more and more throughout the week. And today I was able to hold my own against some pretty big...
Yeah, today you looked like you were back to normal almost.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was hard to submit you. I don't even know if I did.
You did. You got me in an arm bar.
Dang.
I remember.
Did I do the technique?
No, I think you had my arm, and then I was trying to get out of it, but then you were able to roll with it, and then my arm was totally stretched in between your legs, and it just was very bad for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember
And then I was really sad because I wanted to sweep you so bad, and I was at a point where I could have, and then you stopped it, and then Austin was like, I saw it, and it was almost there. And I was like, I know. I'm terrible at sweeps, man. They are like the least, like, most efficient thing that I can get in my rolls. And like, I know how to drill them just fine, but like in a live roll, for me to get a sweep that's not like a scissor sweep or a knee tip, I'm just like...
Remember when I worked on my guard for half a year?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I learned how to sweep.
Yeah. I was playing a lot of spider guard today, though. I did notice that.
Aranja. Portuguese for spider. I know like 100 words in Portuguese.
How do you say potato?
Batata. Batata.
How do you say a mouse? Do you remember?
Mosca.
Mosca? No, what was that really long word?
No, that's a fly. Mosca.
Yeah. Because it was like this really long word.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. But,
you were like, that's a mouse.
Hato is a rat, which is also a mouse.
Mm.
Hato. R-A-T-O. Hato. Hato. A butterfly is a babaleta.
Listening to this man try to do his Portuguese app every night is very entertaining because he has the most American accent with it, and it's very funny and very cute.
I'm trying. It's fun.
But he'll probably start every one of these by saying "Bom dia."
Bom dia.
Because that's hello in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess.
But what I was saying, anyways, is
what were we talking about?
I was working on my guard for 6 months, but when I talk about I work on a specific thing for every week of rolling, I worked on my guard every week for 6 months. I worked on a different aspect of my guard, right? Mm-hmm. So you think about concepts like, okay, I'm going to work on my points of contact, or this week I'm going to work on my off balancing. This week I'm going to work on knee tips. This week I'm going to work on feet on the hips. This week I'm going to work on collar sleeve grabs. This week I'm going to work on butterfly hooks. This week I'm going to work on half guard.
Yeah.
I do that every single week. At the beginning of the week, I think, what worked well for me last week? What sucked for me last week? What do I want to work on this week? Mm-hmm. I do a little mental exercise of that.
Yep.
And, I mean, I'm not trying to be, like, egotistical, But my game develops every week. Obviously, I spend time on the mats, but there are certain things that I do really well because I work specifically on those things. Mm-hmm. And people know, like, oh shit, Nick's got butterfly hooks. Or, uh-oh, Nick is on my back. He's fishing for a collar right now. Mm-hmm. But I've specifically put time into those things. Where you say you just like to roll and have fun, which is totally cool too. But I'm saying, if you focus on those things, you'll notice your game elevate faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think I do that, but not to the depth that you do. Because I do remember thinking this morning, I was like, I want to do some spider guard today. And then what I did was, I think with everyone that I went with, I had a good spider guard, and then I would just boop, boop your leg, and now we're in a triangle. I think I did that with every single person, except for you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Brett,
remember that.
Brett doesn't count.
Yeah.
I don't even think I even got close to there with Brett. But, no, I did that with everyone, and even if I couldn't finish the triangle, because let's say they postured up, or I just didn't have the right angle, I still was able to get my spider guard, and then able to move their arm out of the way so that I could pop that leg up. And I would do it so quickly, too, and it was very entertaining.
That's awesome.
Like, I know Justin was just like, I don't know what to do with you. And I thought it was funny.
That is awesome. But,
yeah, I mean, we just kind of eased our way back into it. We didn't try to rush it. Maybe we did, but
we didn't hurt ourselves, so we're good.
Yeah.
If we did rush into it, we would have ended up continuing to hurt ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's still not going 100%, still not dropping on my knees or like putting any hard knee on bellies in or like riding up and squeezing in mounts or anything like that. That puts pressure from my knee into the ground, which happens often.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, but I've been a lot more spinny, which has been super fun because I love spinning.
But then I said about my chest, I was like, I love rolling, I just love moving, and then if I'm just like in a teepee the whole time and all I can do is tuck my head and move, like, okay.
You should ask your dad for the head pin technique.
Where you have to push the head down?
No. Where, you know how he teaches sternum to sternum and you put pressure there? You can do that with the tip of your forehead on people and use that as a post to drive. And then you get grips or whatever and you drive your head into people.
I use my head just as post all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Yep, but you can use it to secure people really well.
It was funny because there was one time I was rolling with Dave, and my head was here, and I was just... and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, using my head!
Yeah, you always gotta use your head, duh. Yes.
Do you have any other last-minute tips? How to ease back into, after a long pause, I guess, of training?
Tap a lot.
Tap! My goodness. The girls I was working with today, they were just like, and I was like, no, you gotta tap. And then, like, they were doing rear naked chokes, and she was just like, and I was like, no! If she's focusing on trying to choke the living daylights out of you, she's gonna be focusing on her elbow placement and her arms and her biceps and everything. She's not gonna be worried about...
Yeah, she's not gonna feel that.
Yeah. So then I would tap. I'm so glad I was there for them, because there was actually one point where she was tapping and the other girl wasn't letting go because she wasn't feeling it. And then I was like, she's tapping!
Yep. Or you yell tap.
Yeah.
Or was it yesterday your dad was doing moves on me and I tapped my foot because both my arms were locked up, right?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, you can tap with your foot. You can yell tap. You can just make a lot of noise, like... just like that.
Well, we had to tell the kids that, too, because one kid, he was tapping, but he didn't tap loud enough or hard enough, and so the other kid didn't hear, and I wasn't around to watch it. And then out of nowhere, the kid's crying. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, oh my God. And I'm like, did you tap? And the other guy's like, I didn't feel it or hear it. And I was like, you gotta tap. I'm like, you just got to.
Yep. And if you're injured and somebody starts putting you in a compromised position, you feel like you can't get out of it, just tap. Mm-hmm. That's totally fine. Like, she would tap if she felt pressure on her chest.
Yeah, I did today.
And people are like, what? And it's like, okay, no, it's okay. I'm just injured and trying to save my chest.
Yeah. Like when you put me in that big stack.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't even want to try to test this right now. I'm done. Like, let go.
Yeah. I stacked it up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
I love that stack pass that I learned from Master Sauer.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, ease into it. Tap. Just tap a lot. If you're feeling any discomfort, just tap. It's fine.
Often.
Because you're injured and you're trying to come back to the game.
You want to say bye? Say goodbye to the camera. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. So why don't you put in the comments today what you worked on this week, what worked well for you, what didn't work well that you should work on, and if you had a good week or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our week was fun. We just did a lot of training this week. No special events, no news presses, no seminars.
I just had fun.
Yeah, lots of fun, lots of teaching this week, which was really fun for me. I love teaching. And I plan on teaching a lot more in the future. Mm-hmm. So if you'd like to have a private lesson with me, come out to Greenfield, Wisconsin. And we can have a private lesson. And we can go over loop chokes. Or anything you want to go over.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I do.
Like, I think I say this every week, but we always have some special guests in store for you guys. We have lots of people who want to be on the podcast and lots of topics to discuss. So keep looking out for our new videos. I know we're going to be doing a female-only one here very soon. Ellie, Tracy, and I are trying to coordinate a good date to do that. Mm-hmm. I know one I am personally really excited about that we have to do sooner rather than later is I want to do one of every belt. So I would be the white belt, Nick would be the blue belt, and then we'll bring on a purple, brown, and black just for all of our perspectives on things, which will be super fun. But
yeah, I'm excited about that
this dude's about to not be a blue belt very soon here, so we gotta get moving on that one.
That'll be blue belt forever. I'm gonna quit. I'm done now. I'm done with Jiu-Jitsu. The blue belt blues have gotten me. It is over. Cut.
But then I know we want to do a segment about training as an older person, because we do have a guy in his
BJJ
50s.
over 40, yeah, in 50s,
He's
yeah.
in his 50s, and he wants to compete in July, which I think is freaking awesome.
Yeah, Rome's going to compete in the over 50 division, so that's super cool. I'm excited to see that.
4-stripe white belt, so that'll be really fun for him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have lots in store. So if you guys want to hear anything specific, you want to talk about something that has been on your mind or something you would like our insight on, let us know, and we'll probably do a podcast on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thanks so much for watching this week. We appreciate you guys. Yeah. It'd be super helpful if you gave us a like or a share, like our page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. It'd be super awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Say bye. Come here. Say bye.